Welcome to the Game O.S.T. podcast, a post-mortem for video game music examining its influence over the gamers and the sagas the music helped create. Let's get to our hosts, Andrew and Daniel.
Welcome to the Video Game O.S.T. That's not what it's called.
Hey man, I didn't make the name.
What do you think of that name, though?
Video Game O.S.T.?
Yeah. I think it's actually the Game O.S.T.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah.
Although,
okay.
that may have been taken, man. That
I doubt it.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
I'm going to look it up.
Welcome to the Game O.S.T. I'm Andrew, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Daniel. Do you prefer Murphy or Cross?
That's like just both.
Okay, Daniel Cross Murphy.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, welcome to the show.
This is what it's all about, man.
Yep. All right, so, let's start about you.
About me?
Yeah.
As like a composer or just like in general?
Okay, why are we doing this?
Okay. Well, I think that this is something that I'm interested in just because having a podcast of things to talk about. I mean, I don't really get to talk about video game music that often unless it's with my friends, right?
Yeah.
So it's something that, and even then, like, you know, not all my friends really like video game music.
Right.
So not like us anyway.
Right.
So you're really like the only person I talk to about it.
Cool.
So it's just nice to be able to like just kind of try
just talk.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
So I had this idea because I feel like the cultural significance behind game music is a lot more influential than people recognize.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's a really good idea to, you know, shed some light on not only scores that I like, but ones that are really popular and have sort of changed the societal discourse on video games. Because video games have changed so much from when I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they are not just for, you know, geeky nerds hiding in the dark.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of gone all over the place nowadays.
All right, so tell me something about yourself.
Okay.
Where were you born?
Where's that? Who am I?
Who are you, really?
Well, I'm into. I got a degree in audio production, and
Oh my God, me too.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? And now I'm trying to figure out what to do with that, and I was hoping that at some point I'd be able to do something video game related.
Okay, you got to back up a little bit. How'd you get into music?
Oh, geez. Oh, I can get to that after I did the audio production, right? Or is that kind of silly?
You're like, I got into music after I got my degree.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've getting into music. I mean, my family, that was one of the things that they were super into.
You played at church, right?
Yeah, that was something that I did during my late high school, early college years, mainly. I played a little bit in the middle of high school too, but that was kind of just like getting into the whole church scene, I guess. It was very low key.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, even like I had taken like piano lessons and stuff. And,
oh, cool.
I kind of fell out of that, but you know, afterwards I kind of regretted it. So I tried to, every now and then I'm trying to like bring myself back up to speed because it's just something I really wish I had stuck with.
I have an important question. Does anyone in here play guitar?
As a matter of fact.
So you play guitar, you play keyboards with the gaming keyboard dust-off gear. What else do you play?
That's it. I just do. I play keyboard and and guitar.
Okay.
I did a little bass for a while, but
oh man, I want to get a bass so bad. Okay,
it's too callous-y.
I'm going to talk about myself now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, let's talk about you. You're the one who introduced me.
Okay, so I didn't get into music until high school, and before that I was kind of averse to it in a weird way. But when I got into it, I was very much into like different sort of bands. Well, I mean, always electronic music, techno and trance and all that fun stuff in the 90s.
I know what you mean.
And then I graduated high school and didn't know what I was doing with my life, so I decided to go to AI and, you know, got my degree, met a bunch of cool people, and here we are doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're talking. What game are we talking about today?
So I, figure start off strong. Hopefully not. Well, it's strong to 90s kids, I guess.
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
Everyone who had a Super Nintendo is somewhat familiar with
Right.
Chrono Trigger. So
I get really upset when people have not played or heard of Chrono Trigger because it was such an integral part of my development as a human being.
Yeah, that's one of those games that I rented a lot. I never actually owned it, but I had always rented it. And whenever emulation was a thing, I kind of tried to get into
that's another
that.
thing about you is you're a lot more on the technical side of things. Like you got into computers a lot younger than I did because the technology just wasn't readily available. So I didn't get into emulation until well after the PS2 and even GameCube and Wii came out. And then I was like, hey, I really love playing all these Super Nintendo games. It's a shame I can't afford to. Wait a minute, I don't have to.
Right. The thing about emulation, it kind of lost its flair for me, I think, after a while, just because I was basically using it just to
test.
Yeah. It wasn't really just play through the games.
Yeah, there's definitely a draw and an appeal to having a physical cartridge or even a physical disc, and putting it on your TV and playing it that way because that's how it's meant to be enjoyed. I was gonna say the first time I saw Chrono Trigger was at my best friend's house when I was I guess 6 or 7, and his name was. And I'm gonna beep that name out. And
he's listening right now.
Yeah, that's right. From all the way across the interwebs. And it was just it was a very magical game, and there was so much depth that was not even apparent in the first half hour of the game that I was just and the graphics were amazing at the time, and the battle system, which we're going to talk about later. So yeah, it had a profound impact on me through my life just because of the complexities of the story and the characters, and it's just a great game, period.
Man, you've got these elaborate explanations.
I mean, I love Chrono Trigger.
And I'm just yeah, I really like game music. And people are I don't believe you.
Okay, what's your favorite game? Just offshoot.
Favorite game?
Yeah.
Oh man, that is an extremely hard question to answer.
Okay, most influential game for you?
When I was a kid?
Yeah.
Oh man, even still, yeah, Chrono Trigger obviously, but
yeah,
because that is something that that soundtrack is just so good. I used to listen to Donkey Kong Country 2.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I was it's got to be something old. Come on.
When I was a kid, I to this day I have beaten that game so many times just because I love the entire soundtrack. But we don't need to get on that today.
That's the merit of a game you're obsessed with, or something that really has a powerful effect on you, is that you've played it at least 5 or 6 times.
I guarantee you I've played this game 50 times.
I have played through Chrono Trigger at least 20 or 23 times.
You've seen all the endings.
I've seen all the endings many times. I've leveled up every character to 99. I've worn every equipment. I've gotten every item. I've talked to every NPC. I am obsessed with this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's kind of my thing with I'm more into platformers. When I was a kid, that was more my thing. I mean, I love JRPGs, but platformers is where my heart is, I think.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, platformers are amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Donkey Kong Country has an amazing soundtrack, and we are going to talk about that next week.
Yeah.
I just decided.
Yeah, we should talk about the first game, though. Because that is the one I played first. So
that's going to be the main subject, but we have to touch on 3 as well because I love 3.
Well, we should just go. We should do all 3.
Oh, okay. In order?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's a good idea.
Let's talk about the composer a little bit. What do you know about Yasunori Mitsuda? That's Yasunori Mitsuda. For listeners that don't know, I don't want to come off
yes, he's very Japanese.
Yes. I don't really know much about him as a person.
I don't either, and as a matter of fact, it's kind of hard to find that kind of information. I don't know if that's just because of where we are, and I don't know if there's biographies on him in Japan or something.
His picture on Wikipedia kind of looks like he's doing a duck face.
Yeah, I thought he totally does. No, I do know that on the soundtrack though he had some kind of I don't even know to what extent, but Uematsu, the composer of Final Fantasy, helped him out a lot. Because, I mean, Chrono Trigger is a Square game.
Right.
Or Square Enix nowadays. But back then it was just Squaresoft. And, or maybe it was just Square. I don't know if they put soft on later or not. Regardless, Square made it. And I think it was... I don't know if it was Mitsuda's first JRPG or not, but it was definitely... he definitely had help.
I think it was his first game.
His first game in general?
Yeah.
Jeez.
According to Wiki, anyways, because he did Chrono Trigger, and then he went on to do Radical Dreamers the next year.
Oh,
and
wow.
And then, like, 2 years after that, Xenosaga and Mario Party. So he
He's been all over the map.
Broke into the career pretty well. Did very well for himself.
Not really a fan of the Radical Dreamers, but...
I've actually never played that one.
But Xenosaga's got good soundtrack.
Yeah, for sure. And then, after that, Chrono Cross. Okay, so let's talk about some of the music. What do you want to start with?
I think we should start with the wind scene, because it's I think that's probably the most influential track for me. That's what got me, into the game.
Okay, so can you set up the story a little bit?
Yeah. So in the beginning of Chrono... In the beginning... in the beginning of Chrono Trigger, I mean, you basically just start off like a stock RPG. It's like, you wake up in your bed, mom's telling you to get out, go do your thing. And honestly, I don't really remember what she even wakes you up for, but it get
out of bed, you lazy shit.
Basically. And you end up going to this Millennium Fair, and that's where you run into the princess, but you don't know it's the princess right away,
right?
And that's kind of the most important part at the beginning. She kind of leads you around, you do things with her, and then eventually you go to your friend Luca. Luca. No, you go to your friend Luca's little setup, and she has this time transporter, or it was actually
it was a telepod.
It was a telepod.
So it's supposed to transfer objects from one space to another.
Yeah, so it's not really a time machine of sorts.
Not in purpose.
Not what she thought anyway.
Yeah.
So she was making this machine, and of course the princess, she's all gung ho. She's out of the castle. She wants to do new things, and she's like, "Oh, I'm totally game. Let's jump into this machine right away." And everybody's like, "Oh, cool. We got to volunteer." So actually, just who goes first?
She does.
She does go first.
Yeah. No, she doesn't. Someone else does. An old guy, I think. An old guy gets on, and he's like. Is it not an old guy?
No, I don't think so.
Is it an object?
This is the reason why I don't remember the first part as well. It's because when wind scene kicks in, that's whenever my brain kicks in.
Yeah,
I guess. But basically, I think Chrono goes first.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Chrono ends up teleporting because you give the you end up. The princess,
I'm obsessed with this game. I don't know who goes first.
The princess has this pendant, and turns out it's quite magical. And no one realizes that, obviously, at first, because it's JRPG.
Yep.
And you end up going into the machine, and you turn out fine. You go to the other side of the telepod, and you transport there, and everything's good. And then she decides to get on with her pendant intact around her neck.
Yeah.
Necked.
And necked.
The music kind of gets all creepy.
Yeah, it's like, oh, should I just play it?
Yeah, sure, if you want.
Oh, I don't know the name of that track, honestly.
I don't know the name of that one either. It's not one of my favorites, so I don't really listen to that one very often.
I can hear it in my brain, but I don't know at what point it comes into the game.
But anyways, this creepy tune plays, and you're like, okay, I know something bad's about to happen because JRPG. So she ends up teleporting back in time.
Yeah. And
everyone's like, oh my God, where did she go? But her pendant is the only thing that's left on the stand.
Oh, I found it.
Well, go ahead and play it, yeah.
There's an ad.
Oh, jeez.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, Nobody, for hosting us.
For real. We should just have a thumb drive with all the tracks on it, right?
Okay, so keep telling the story.
Yeah, so anyways, she ends up teleporting back in time. And yeah, this is right. And Chrono notices that the pendant has been left on the stand, so immediately he wants to save her.
Yeah.
So he jumps up on the stand holding the pendant,
Right.
and then he ends up teleporting back to the same time period, but in a different location.
Right.
So,
which is interesting. They don't really talk about that.
yeah, they
the
don't.
game.
They don't. I mean, I guess it's just like, paradoxes and all
Right,
kinds of
right.
crazy stuff going on.
I feel like playing this is very appropriate because the amount of time between Marl going back into the past and Chrono being like, okay, I'll go save her, is significant. There is a lot of dialogue. When you're speedrunning, you're like mashing through that.
Right.
It's
right.
ridiculous.
That is very true. Well, I mean, everybody freaks out.
Right,
That's a
as they should.
very important part of the
Because
game.
I think at that point, Luca also recognizes her as the princess. She's like,
Oh,
she looks so familiar. She keeps saying that. And then,
yeah.
and then when you finally go back in time...
Yeah. What ends up happening there is Chrono is in like this forest area, and it's got full of like little imps and little these roly monsters or whatever.
Yeah. And that would be the first time you hear this.
No, it's just like the stock forest music at first, but
Yeah.
it's when you get out of the forest and into the overworld that the wind scene
right.
starts to play.
Right, yeah.
And when the first time I heard that as a kid, I was just like, this is my favorite game.
Oh no, yeah, it's super magical because it's not only has something really bizarre happened that's like, out of this world, but it's like there's just something about it that's really lighthearted, but also like
Kind of sad, too.
yeah, a little sad.
Yeah.
Because it's the Middle Ages and nobody has indoor heating or plumbing.
Well, and that's the thing is like the overworld map. Whenever you're in the year 1000 or whatever, the present time,
Yeah.
it's a lot more just like kind of just chill and kind of upbeat.
Yeah, it's like, this is my home place in time.
Yeah, so it's kind of even like it has like hints of like triumphantness and kind of like that.
It's
So-
it's mellow for sure.
Yeah, and so when you go back in time, everything kind of like falls apart.
Yeah.
Everything started to fall apart. So that's why it's kind of like sad, but still kind of like it's like a hope kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I guess that's kind of why they're good at what they do over there.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk about the battle theme. So you land in the forest, and these imps come out at you, and
I guess you hear the battle theme before you hear
actually,
the
that's the second time. Well, that's the first time you're forced into an encounter. The first time you have an option of doing an encounter is you can either go from your house to the forest where the castle is, or you can fight Gato, which maybe we should talk about Gato.
That's right. I forgot about Gato.
Isn't that also Specchio's theme? Point of fact.
No, I think Gato's got his own theme.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, he has his Gato's theme, that has become reviled by the. Oh, that's a remix. I almost clicked on a remix. That would have been terrible.
Yeah, whoever's familiar with YTM&D, Chrono's
Our
Trigger.
fans don't know what that is.
Chrono Trigger's music has long since been a part of memes
Okay,
before memes were memes.
This sounds so Spanish to me. Do you hear it?
I think it's just the brass instruments.
I can't listen to that. You can't take it seriously because Gato is a joke.
Yeah, Gato is a joke, but you can do some early grinding.
That's true.
Get some quick EXP on
And
Gato.
some silver points as well.
Yeah, silver points for the Millennial Fair. That I honestly, when I was a kid, even still to this day, I never really find myself wandering around the Millennial Fair if I play.
Yeah.
I'm always just like, okay, let's get to
I
win
mean,
scene.
I like doing the race thing. That's fun.
I don't think I've ever done that.
What other game you start playing and then within like 5 minutes there are mini games everywhere?
Yeah, that is something that's very interesting. I don't think there was a single Super Nintendo game or Genesis for that matter,
Yeah.
like Chrono Trigger.
Well, I've never played a Genesis game where there was mini games. There's like, I don't know, Sonic 2 had the special stage, but you have to earn getting there, and it's not like you can just go there whenever you want.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger is very unique that way. It's like, oh, here's this game. What am I supposed to do? Go. Like, you run into Marl by accident. That's kind of amazing. It's sort of historic in a way.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this for a second.
Oh, Robo's theme.
That's right.
So when you first get introduced into this cool robot from the future,
I feel so bad for people who've never played this game because these spoilers are just like, who cares?
I mean, is it really spoilers though? Because it's so early on.
Bill never got that far, apparently. Our mutual friend Bill, who is a game developer, hasn't played Chrono Trigger all the way through.
And he wants to make a JRPG, but, we don't judge him too hard.
No, not at all. Judges harshly.
I don't know. I think if you want to make a JRPG, Chrono Trigger is pretty important.
Absolutely.
I think
so is Rick Astley.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I guess we should talk about that. So Robo's theme kind of has that whole never gonna give you up vibe.
But which came out first?
Never gonna give you up. It came out in the 80s.
But do you think that Mitsuda was like, I'm obsessed with this song?
I mean, I love Never Gonna Give You Up. So
yeah,
if I can,
you're an Astley fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I am an Astley fan, as a matter of fact. And
not ironically.
Yeah, not ironically, like for real. I really love Rick Astley.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone's ever asked him what he thinks about that, because it sounds so like if you play them one after each other, they sound very similar.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. There are like mashups of it on YouTube.
So, oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Please do not.
I won't. But that sounds amazing.
Yes, it is amazing.
So, which one do you prefer? If you had to only pick one.
Of like the themes from Chrono Trigger?
No. Of Rick Astley or Robo's theme.
Oh, good lord! Honestly, I'd probably pick Robo's theme.
Okay, yeah, because I like the idea if you took one out of the world and you're playing the game and you get to Robo and it's just like, it's just the Robo sounds with no backing music behind it to make you feel good about finding this robot. It's like, it's gonna kill me.
Yeah. That is the thing. Is like Robo's kind of like this weird robot because
he's like a fancy British butler robot,
but he has like emotions and stuff.
He does, yeah. He develops emotions,
which is why his brothers don't like him.
That's right. They want to kill all humans.
They do. Yeah, you have to save him from his evil blue brothers.
Oh, you're talking about the blue ones. I was talking about Mother Brain.
Mother Brain?
Yeah. Did you never play that side quest?
I'm sure I did.
Okay. Yeah, she's like, I'm going to reprogram you because you're defective. And then his, like, girlfriend, in quotes, it's like this robot with a blue or pink ribbon on it.
Okay, I don't think I ever did that. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's a really weird, like, side quest in the game.
So let me just... I should have prefaced this whole thing with... I play video games for the music, so sometimes I forget to do other things in the game. But
yeah, that's fair.
However, that is not true.
Speaking of music,
okay.
Is this on par with Guile's theme for you?
Guile's theme?
Yeah.
I mean, it can't go with everything.
I mean, it's very triumphant.
It is, but Guile's theme is not triumphant. Guile's theme is like...
It's just America.
Yeah, it's just America, yeah. No, it's so funny because, like, there's, like, the fanfare music that you hear, even in Chrono Cross, when you win a battle, it plays the fanfare music from Chrono Trigger. And I always got Frog's theme and the fanfare music mixed up. Like,
isn't it almost the same?
I honestly, like, right now, like, when I hear Frog's theme, like, right now, I can't hear the fanfare theme. So I don't know what it is about that. Like when I hear one, I can't hear the other. It's very weird.
Okay. Well, speaking of fanfare, we should talk about the battle music.
Yeah, we should get back to that.
So talk about it a little bit.
You gonna play it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very 60s-ish to me with the battle organ and everything.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That is
the bass line too.
That is something with Japanese game developers back in the 90s was the rock organ.
Yeah, very much so.
But
like the thing that stands out the most really is the bass line. The composer Yasunori has to be an amazing bass player.
I doubt he actually played that bass line. That's like...
Well, no, but like you have to have an ear for it, you know?
Yeah, that is true. That is something that, man, I wish I could make that kind of bass line, man.
So I've listened to this both sped up a lot and slowed down, and the most interesting thing to me is the like high range soft like flute thing going on where it's like
right.
You know? Like that gets overlooked a lot.
Yeah, and it even like since we're wearing headphones, it even kind of sounds like it's going from like left to right.
Oh, yeah, I can't hear it on the one side.
It's totally going back and forth. So that's really cool. There's like stereo imaging in a Super Nintendo game. That's very interesting.
That's definitely far out there.
Yeah, that's crazy. So,
but man, does this theme get old after a while? No, I'm just kidding. I love it.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I was like, funny thing about that is like this theme.
It pumps you up.
Yeah, it pumps you up, and it never gets old. You hear it throughout the entire game.
When you go to Magus's castle, I hate that you can't hear it at all.
Oh yeah,
because it's just the guy moaning.
Yeah.
That's a grown up. A child whose dreams have died.
Magus's castle is something that when I was a kid I had a lot of trouble with because I was always
was it scary to you?
No, I was underleveled.
Oh yeah, no, it's a big difficulty spike actually.
Yeah, I always felt like I was super underleveled. So you have to fight like 2 bosses before you fight Magus. And it's like
actually 3. Well, no, I guess Ozzy doesn't count.
Well, I was thinking Ozzy and Flea.
No.
Who else?
Flea and Slash.
Oh, and Slash,
yeah.
Right. Who are all named after musicians.
Yeah,
in the American version. I don't know about the Japanese version, though.
Oh, what's I think it's similar. It's a little different, though. I don't know.
Maybe they're all named after Japanese musicians or something. But, yeah, it's funny.
I should know that. I can't remember at this very moment.
Ozzy Osbourne, Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and who's the other one?
Slash
from Guns N' Roses.
There you go.
So you've got 3 like ridiculous names for these. They did that in Mega Man X5 too in the American version. They named them all after.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't play X5.
I think it was all after Guns N' Roses music.
So this is like really dark music for a video game.
Magus's Castle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, super creepy.
It's just this sustained note forever, and a guy going oh oh oh.
Yeah. And some really cool like background synths, which
the reverb on that sustain is amazing.
Yeah, I mean it really makes you feel like the castle's huge. And
yeah,
it kind of is.
Yeah.
So that you go in and it's extremely daunting.
I love what Ozzy says when you first walk in. He's like, "Welcome to Magus Castle. You have to fight all 100 enemies." And I was like, "What? No."
Yeah.
I ain't got time for this.
Yeah, and it feels like you fight 100 enemies. So
and I feel like Magus is one of the like if you had to pick like 4 bosses in the whole game, he's one of the biggest ones for sure.
Yeah. And if you play the whole game,
yeah,
it's I mean I feel like it's so old that spoilers really don't matter anymore.
Yeah, not really.
So spoiler alert, I guess. Magus can join your party.
Oh, that's a big spoiler.
That is a big spoiler, actually. And he because I wouldn't say he turns good. He's more of an anti-hero.
Yeah.
But he joins your team to help you get Chrono back because he gets killed. So you
That's
have to.
Another spoiler.
Yeah, another spoiler. You have to go back in time, and you have to use like this weird egg thing that an old man gives you. And
isn't that? It's the time egg. That's right.
Something like that.
But
yeah.
the time egg only works at the event of the Chrono Trigger.
Right. You have to use the Chrono Trigger, or you have to use the egg with the Chrono Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the name of the game. Whoa! But of course, that's at like the end of the game. And honestly, that's only something that happens whenever you bring Chrono back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can beat the game before Chrono comes back.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
As a matter of story arc and narrative, you're supposed to bring Chrono back to life.
Right. But yeah, that is something about this game. Is like there's so many different endings that.
Yeah, it's almost. I feel like it's better than just open worldness because when you look at Chrono Trigger, the world is not that open.
Well, I don't know, man. Not at first, but like when you get the Epoch,
yeah,
the spaceship, like the spaceship, the time machine ship,
yeah,
you can go.
It can go in space.
Yeah, maybe you can go back and forth in time, but also you can go around the entire overworld map of each time period when you have the Epoch. Of course, you don't get that till like way later in the game. Much like in Final Fantasy, you don't get like the airships right away.
Right.
And stuff,
Yeah.
But, oh man, I kind of lost my train of thought.
All right, we have one more thing of music, and then we have to wrap it up. So,
okay. Well, then we'll just jump from that. Oh, right.
Yeah, you almost forgot.
I did almost forget.
Shame on you.
So yeah, this is the Corridors of Time theme.
That's right.
And this is something you don't hear until...
This is like out of left field for the narrative of the whole game, too. It's
yeah.
like, okay, now we're in the sky, and there's super weird magic technology.
Well, it's funny. It's like superior technology, but it's like in the past.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Star Wars in a way, because you know how it's like a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, a long, long time ago in Chrono Trigger, they had like super crazy technology that you're never going to see again.
Right.
You know? And
it's almost like commentary on society in a way. Oh.
I mean, you know, maybe we don't know what they had back then, but whatever.
This music is really, really beautiful.
Yeah, Quarters of Time is something that's kind of like another Wind scene, honestly.
It is. And it also has really good song structure. You know, it's like, you know, it has that one continuous like looping synth, but it works through the whole thing, which is kind of, I think, impressive.
I think this song is also really cool because it's similar to Wind Scene, and like it sounds kind of sad, but then it's got like that kind of hope thing too. But this one sounds a lot more hopeful because you're towards the end of the game.
Yeah,
and you know you're almost there, kind of thing. It's
right.
It's like a checkpoint
for sure.
So it feels it also kind of feels triumphant, but in a less frog way.
Right, yeah.
In a less frogs theme kind of way.
And speaking about being towards the end of things.
Yeah, I guess we should close this out.
Yep. So, I've been Andrew.
And I've been Daniel.
And thank you for listening to the Game O.S.T. We will see you guys next time.
Probably with Donkey Kong Country.
Probably, definitely.
If something changes, then we won't let you know.
Yeah, we won't. Absolutely not. Okay. Bye.